Welcome back to Control Alt Lead, the podcast from computing where we talk to IT leaders at the sharp edge of strategy. Today, I'm at Oracle's AI World Tour in London and joined by Siobhan Wilson, Oracle's UK country leader. So, Siobhan, thank you so much for joining me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
There have been a huge amount of announcements made today. So, I guess to start, can we go through some of the key ones, the key takeaways that IT leaders need to know about?
Yes, of course. So I think the key one is really around the agentic AI. Continues to be a major part of our strategy and making sure that we're embedding as much AI into our all of our layers, the infrastructure, the industry suites, AI data platform, and of course the AI database itself as well. So really about making sure that our customers are understanding that the AI agents and the agentic AI is, the capabilities are in all of the layers. That for me is like really interesting. If you listen to the keynote, they talked a lot about, quite a lot of the technical elements that were in there. But for me, it's really just helping customers understand that the AI is embedded and the AI is really important to help them get the most out of their data. And that's the big message for me.
And a lot of the messaging was around how important it is that that Oracle can embed AI sort of end to end.
Exactly.
So could you talk us through that bit as well?
Yeah, I guess, if you think about it from a customer perspective on how are they going to get the most out of what's the best outcomes they're going to get from AI? And, everybody's really talking about outcomes now because everybody knows that AI is going to help, but we're not quite sure what the business outcomes are in some areas. So I think once you start understanding it, it's really about the data, obviously. And I do laugh because I know I did an interview a few years ago where I talked a lot about it's all about the data, and it still is. And I think it's really important with the AI data platform that we're announcing and we're talking a lot about. It's really about helping customers really manage that data, and that's where you will get the best outcomes using any of the AI that's embedded in all of the layers. If your unified data and how we can help you do that and manage that data through the AI data platform, that's really where you'll get the most outcomes from AI.
Yeah, I thought the outcomes thing was really interesting and very relevant. There was a question asked earlier of Steve Miranda.
Yeah.
Saying, is what you are launching today demand driven or is it agents for agents' sake? And I thought Steve gave a very good answer, which was, well, no one's come to us and asked for AI agents, but they've asked for the stuff that AI agents can do.
Yes, exactly.
Which I thought was a great way to put
it. And it is about, there is demand, but like Steve said, they're not saying, I need an agent to do this. We're very much into a position now with working with our customers to understand their challenges and then, helping them understand how they can work better in that area. And it's just the same as ourselves. We're running a business and we're trying to get to outcomes and we're trying to understand how do we make sure that we're getting the outcomes through using as many AI agents as we possibly can, because that's the future, and it is helping businesses deliver outcomes much quicker and faster. And it's the speed, I think, that's really interesting, and the amount of AI that we've embedded now is just phenomenal. Even in the last 12 months, even in the last 6 months, it's phenomenal. The amount of speed that's happening, it's really interesting.
So let's talk a little bit about AI infrastructure now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Oracle has huge amounts of AI infrastructure, massive data center investments. What are the plans specifically for the UK?
So as we would have remembered last year, we invested 5 billion into the UK. A lot of that is around innovations on sovereign cloud for UK government. So there's a lot of AI capabilities that's been built into the UK sovereign cloud for the government. So that's huge. There's also the health clinical AI agent that's available in the UK. That's huge. That's the clinical notes. And that, we were talking about that yesterday because that's really specific to the UK. We haven't actually, it's not available everywhere, but we've been able to manage that within the UK through the policies, because obviously there's a lot of policy and regulations around that, but we've, managed to be able to get that into the UK, which is really good. So that's a real win for the UK.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you now think that the market, in terms of users as well as vendors, is shifting from AI hype to AI accountability?
Absolutely. I think, and that's when we talk about the outcomes, right? It's a similar sort of thing. If you look at, we look at data about our customers and we know where they've turned on AI, where they haven't turned on AI. And, we're seeing a massive intake on all the customers turning on AI. And there's a huge percentage that's constantly growing about the customers actively using AI and now getting outcomes from that AI. And that shift it's sort of started off slow, but it's really accelerating now. So a lot of customers, we're seeing active use of AI, active use of getting outcomes. And you will have heard some of the customers on stage this morning about some of the things that they're doing. But that increase has been huge. And actually, if you look at it from an industry perspective, we're seeing even some of the regulated industries even massively increasing their use of AI and getting what they need from the AI agents and the embedded AI infusion, particularly, but also in the OCI and database layer as well. So they are turning it on, they are using it, and they are definitely getting outcomes from it now.
I'm glad you brought up the regulated industries part there, because perhaps as a closing question, something else that's come up several times today is trust. And when you hand responsibility over to an AI agent, you are inherently giving it a lot of your trust. So what would you say is the best way to sort of come to terms with handing off so much responsibility to an AI agent?
I think, when you think about Oracle, we've been the data company for decades, and I think customers have trusted us with their data for many, many years. And everything we build and everything that we put together, right from the ground layer up all the way through to the applications, security is massive. And that's why customers trust us with their data. And they will trust us again with the AI, because we're embedding it in all of the same security things that we will always put into our products and services. Trust is really important for our customers, and we absolutely know that, and we've been trusted with it for decades. So we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to build security into all of our products and services to make sure that we continue to get that kind of trust.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Siobhan, thank you so much for joining
me.
me. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Control Alt Lead. Coming up later in the season, we'll have interviews with IT leaders at the likes of Carlsberg, Aston Martin, and OpenAI, so do stay tuned for more. And if you can't wait that long, head over to computing.co.uk for more IT leader interviews, research, and analysis. See you soon.